and welcome back to this week's episode of the BeDifferential podcast. I'm your host, Ava Gregory, and this week we are joined in person by Annie Rhule, professional racing driver. Welcome to this week's episode.
Thank you so much for having me.
This whole setup, I'm going to address it. This situation of recording in person has just been a whole experience. So
it's been so fun.
Thanks, Annie, for putting up with this. So let's get into it a little bit. Why don't you give the listener who doesn't know who you are, just high level, who you are, what you do, why we should care?
Well, can't really make you. But hi, I'm Annie Rhule. I am 19 years old. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I am a racing driver. Basically, you name it, I've probably driven it. Started racing go-karts when I was 8 years old, so it's been 11 years, long time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know.
We're gonna get into it.
Please care.
I love it. So tell us, okay, so you've been doing it for 11 years, and we talked a little bit before this, but how did you first get involved in it? I mean, I feel like people, especially since you've been doing it for 11 years, but you're still so young, you got in it at a young age. So what did that look like?
I don't really know. I started basically kind of how everyone does in a rental cart. My dad took me to our local track with a friend of his whose son also raced, and we tested it out, and I just kind of fell in love with being behind the wheel. I really liked it. I was like a dancer and gymnast previously, and that wasn't really my thing, so I had to get out of there.
Yeah, found a new hobby, found a new way to spend your time. That's actually how I should have introduced her, professional dancer. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. So, okay, did you, in your family, did anyone else kind of have the motorsport bug? Like, is that what, you mentioned your dad, you mentioned your family, but like, was anyone else doing it before you? Did you have kind of an example of that, or was it like, let's just try it?
No, I'm a first generation driver. My dad is very technical. He likes working on cars and old trucks, and he used to do like charity events downtown Pittsburgh with his business, and that's like the only thing that we have in motorsports. Basically, it's just been me and him like past 11 years.
That's so cool. I feel like, when you get involved in an industry like motorsports or something very niche, it's great to have that support system locally. For sure. Even if you're that first gen, like to have that kind of shared passion is really good.
Absolutely.
So we talk about this because we know racing is a very demanding sport. You have a lot of other commitments in your life, but what does a typical week look like for you in terms of preparation, training, competitions? I mean, it's a variety of kind of different motorsports that you're getting involved in and have been involved in. So can you talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah. So basically, the majority of like go-karting tracks are not on like iRacing or sim, but like some of them are. So usually I'm training on the sim every day. I'm in the gym every day. Yep, that's me.
New hashtag alert.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm racing at like the top level of go-karting where it's shifter kart racing. So it's like you're driving with one hand most of the time. And that takes a lot of effort. And so I'm always in the gym. I'm constantly training, just trying to nourish my body and be able to perform at my best, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say, since I'm not really used to like all the car tracks, I do a lot of studying with that, opposed to other homework studying from school.
We'll get there.
A lot of studying in my life. But yeah, a lot of studying, taking notes on like braking points, turning in, gas, all the normal things.
Yeah, that's good. So when you're looking at it from like an educational perspective, because I feel like you are still a student, so how do you tie in maybe some of your study tactics for school to what that might look like for motorsport? How is that translating? What kind of tools or resources are you using to educate yourself?
YouTube.
I love that.
I
love that. That's how I literally replaced an engine in my car with YouTube University.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, YouTube
That's
is
sick.
it. Okay.
Yes. No, absolutely. ChatGPT.
Yeah, 100%.
Which one's the
brake? What is the braking point?
Yep. No, I utilize a lot of people that I have in my life. I have coaches in racing that I reach out to when I need help, just like I have professors that I reach out to when I need help. Basically, I'm always harassing other people to help me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically That's how that works.
That's
no,
that's
great.
What I do. No, that's great though. So tell me a little bit, how did you like build a network of mentors and coaches? Because I feel like that is something else that people maybe interested in getting involved in motorsports might look for or might be seeking out, but don't know where to go. And obviously a lot of it's going to start with like organic conversation or like social media, like reaching out, whatever it may be. But how did you start building that network?
So in go-karting, I've been with the same team for like 10 years. So I've built kind of like a loyalty to them, and just like all the people that have came in and out of that team, I've gotten to know, and a lot of them have been able to educate me. A lot of them are older than me too, so they're able to help out a lot. And I want to say, as I've gotten older, I've started to go to more of like the IMSA races, SRO, and I've just been like going in blind, not really knowing anyone, and I'm just like get a couple coffees in me, and like I'm just talking to everyone. So I don't know, I just kind of took a leap of faith and hope to meet people. I reach out on social media a lot. That's how I met Lily Lindquist with Link Project. Shout out.
Lily's been on the podcast. You guys have heard from her. But literally, that's how Annie and I got introduced, was through Lily. So just an example of networking and communicating. Yeah. But didn't you literally reach out to her on social media? Yeah. And then you guys just blindly like shared a hotel room and like we're just at, like you were just like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll try it. But like, okay, safety first, guys. But at least like that's a prime example of just putting yourself out there. Even if it's like scary or uncomfortable, you might not know, but then it ends up being worth it, you know? And I think that that's something a lot of people are just scared to do, but you truly have to just take the leap of faith.
Yeah, you gotta trust people.
So let's talk about your early in your car racing career. What have been some of the highlights in your experience so far? Anything that stands out?
So I was nominated as a finalist for the Heart of Racing Aston Martin GT4 shootout.
Awesome.
That was 2 years ago in Arizona. That was so cool.
Yeah, especially being from Pittsburgh, like running out in Arizona. What was it like? Because I know obviously climate impacts driving greatly. Yes. Right? So like what is some of your firsthand experience from a colder climate like Pittsburgh to going to Arizona, where it can get cool, but is totally different?
It was very different. I'd say it was very windy out there, and so all the dust would blow onto the track, and so like one lap there'd be a lot of grip, and then there'd be like a gust of wind, and then there's dust all over the track, and you lose all that grip in the next lap. So it was very like, okay, whoa, I don't have any grip.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Wow, yeah, because I'd be like, okay, if it's wet or dry, but dust. Oh my gosh. I didn't even consider. Wow. Yes. Okay, so that's fantastic. Yeah. And so the shootout, you've done a couple shootouts now. Can you talk through what is the experience of a shootout like for someone that might not know?
So basically it's usually you get to drive maybe like 2 days or 1 day, and then the other half of it is just how well you perform off of the track. Like, are you communicating with the engineers? Are you communicating with the team? Like, people that aren't of, like, as high of status in the team, too. Like, you're being nice to everyone. And, yeah, basically just how well you're willing to learn and communicate. Network, obviously. Everything's about networking and communicating. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say it's just off track and on track. Like, you want to be the total package.
Yeah. What might an outcome of a shootout be like? Like, what are you ultimately competing for those who don't know?
You're competing for potentially a seat in the next season. Usually it's fully funded or like partially funded, and basically just getting seat time and getting the experience and getting the awesome opportunity to drive a free race car.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, listen, anytime anyone wants to put me in a race car, I'm not aiming to be a professional driver, but I will be there. I love that. So we've talked about this a little bit, and I think this is a common topic on the podcast, especially. Motorsports is really tough from getting involved, getting started, finding the funding. Yeah. What have been some of the challenges in your perspective, especially like entering as a younger age? What are some of the largest hurdles that you have to overcome?
I would say price for sure. Funding, sponsorship. No one wanted to sponsor this year. It was a pain in the butt. There was a week where I sent at least 10 emails, and I didn't get any responses. Like, no one wants to talk to a little girl asking for money. I'm like, please, I'm so much more than that.
Well, and I'll say, because on the inverse side, like with Haggerty, it factor in greatly and like determine how we're spending money for partnerships.
Right.
And it's really tough for, a company to say, okay, yes, we're going to sponsor this individual, as opposed to like a larger team or whatever it may be, because they're looking for brand exposure or whatever.
Right.
So like finding ways to set yourself apart and make yourself unique, right? Yeah. Like what are some ways that you have found that to be accomplished in the past? Like, have you had securing sponsorships? Have you been able to do that in the past?
Not necessarily. I'd say I'm very fortunate that my dad has been successful in life.
Gotcha.
So he did a lot of the karting. It was something that we enjoyed to do as a family together. Yeah. But he's made it very clear that now that we're going into cars,
cut, we're done.
I'm on my own. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about this too, because we were kind of discussing this prior to a little bit. But with a shootout, typically when you're competing for that seat, right? Like, we're looking at it from the perspective of creating opportunity for maybe those that don't have the funding available or don't have commitments. How do you think businesses and brands or teams can help to support opening more opportunities for those that don't have an existing opportunity?
I think the shootouts, they have the right intention. It's the opportunity to get to drive a race car and meet people and build your seat time and just experience in a car. But I think that there's a lack of giving the opportunity in the seat to people that are actually in need of it. But I also understand that you want someone that's experienced and can bring wins to the team. But at the same time, you want to give that opportunity to people that don't have the opportunity to get in a car.
Like, let me prove myself.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, I can see both sides.
Yeah, that's definitely challenging. So what is your take on the current landscape for young drivers in motorsport? And then are there areas that you feel need improvement to support up-and-coming talent? And this could be beyond financial support as well, training resources. What might your take be on that?
I think there's been so many new opportunities now. Like, everyone that I talk to, they're like, I never had that kind of opportunity as a kid. Yeah.
Like, what kind of examples?
Like, all the shootouts. I've been to 3 different shootouts. Everyone I've talked to has been like, there's nothing, like, that is all brand new. So I think if we keep doing that and giving those opportunities to drivers, that just bridges the gap from anything to cars. And also there's so many like marketing too. There's a lot of like tools for marketing that we didn't have when we were younger, and now there's so many that like anyone can utilize. Like, granted, you have to pay for it typically, but it's still out there. Or even YouTube University. ChatGPT, how do I make money? How do I get followers?
No, that's fair. That's valid.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about, as you're developing what you want to see your career look like and what you would hope for yourself, what ideally is the next 5 years like for you?
I would say I need more experience in a car. So hopefully like WRL, SRO, something a little bit lower than IMSA, financially and experience-wise.
Yeah.
And then I would love to get into like Michelin Pilot Series after that, and then hopefully an IMSA. I really like sports cars, and I think that that's where I would want to end up, is in IMSA. But I also don't want to like limit myself to just sports cars. Like, hey, if anyone wants to give me an Indy ride, I'm there.
You heard it here first, folks. Okay. I'm just saying. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
So then, okay, this does not impact any future sponsors or teams at all.
Right.
But what is your dream car to be racing and competing in?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I am such a Porsche lover.
Girly, welcome to the club.
Oh my God. That would be the dream. My dad used to have a Porsche 911 turbo, and like I just wanna race it just to make him happy.
Oh, wait, I love that. Wait, that's so wholesome.
I feel like it would be his dream to see me in a Porsche. But that's also, really cool. I will say the new Ford Mustang Dark Horses. Oh, they look so fun to drive.
Have you had the experience yet?
No.
Okay.
I want to.
We'll work
on
that
bad.
Next.
Everything.
ChatGPT, how can I drive? No, that's awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about this. You have a vision.
Yeah.
You have like the next 5 years, what your goal, what your ideal pathway is. How do you stay mentally focused and resilient? Because obviously, like going to these shootouts are awesome experiences.
Right.
They might not always turn out how we hope or like best outcome.
Right.
How do you convince yourself to keep getting up after that? And then, follow-up question, how do you balance all of the things that you're committed to, because you are committed to school, to work, to racing? How are you navigating that? Because I think it feeds into that resilience.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it comes from just the way I was raised. Both of my parents are very hardworking and like their lives revolved around work. And that's kind of what I took after. I do a lot of like self-help book reading too. I'm just like always trying to like improve myself in one way or another. And I think, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. We'll reset. That's okay. We're at 15:48. Good. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I can re-ask it if you need me to, or if you can just pick it back up from like, how do you maintain resilience?
Okay.
You're good. Whenever you're good.
I need to think about this. Such a hard question because I just do it. Like I don't have
You can say that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
You can, if you want to, you can either restate or not and just mention like, you saw the example of your parents and then like you just have this dream.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Like that's authentic. I feel like that's fine to say. I don't know.
Okay. Basically, I'd say it all comes down to how my parents raised me. They're very hardworking people, and they kind of instilled that into me and my sister, and that's just how I've lived my life ever these past 19 years. And I don't know. I kind of just, I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, I want to drive a race car for a living.
Yeah.
Like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like, nothing's going to stand in my way for doing that. So I just try and work at it every day. And then for balancing everything, it's like, well, it's not going to do itself.
Keeping it real. I mean, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do it. I go to work, I go to school, and then I do racing when I get home. Like, it's just on repeat every day.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the kind of thing that I thrive in, like, what's it called? Like a cycle every day?
Like a routine.
Yeah, I don't know why I blinked. Like routines. Like, I need routines to keep me motivated and, like, make sure that I don't stray off from it. Yeah, that's just...
I think that's great, though.
Yeah.
I literally, like, there was a podcast I was listening to recently, and it was, like, talking about a lot of people who are millionaires now or, like, successful in their businesses that they started or whatever it is.
Right.
They had the benefit of speed above others.
Yeah.
So while some companies were so focused on, like, okay, we need to go through all these approvals, these different steps, they were just like, we have a goal, we're taking action, and we're going to figure it out. And I think that, like, for people who have an immense amount of drive, pun intended, I think it's very important that you have that vision of, I want to drive race cars. Right. So I don't quite know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then you're like literally subliminally setting yourself up to make decisions based on what's going to get you there.
Right.
And I think that that's okay. Like, it's okay to just be like, I wake up and I figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's just how it is sometimes. That's okay.
I went to IMSA Road Atlanta and I just bought a ticket. I told my parents, hey, I have to go to Atlanta. Bye. And I had no place to stay. And I reached out to Lily and I was like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to help out. But like, I don't have any place to stay. So
next time I live 5 minutes, like, I got you, girl.
Perfect.
No, I love that though. Literally, again, just making it happen, guys. Yeah, okay.
You figure itself out. That's a later problem.
Yeah, it's a later me. Like, she'll figure it out. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about maybe it doesn't even have to be driver experience, but just like inclusion as a whole. And this is, I always want to use this platform to emphasize the importance of diversity and inclusion and how we can get more people involved, whether it's women, whether it's younger people, whether it's lower socioeconomic, like communities, whatever it is. How do you think we can get more people involved? And maybe like what initiatives are working that might be aimed toward increasing that? I
think that's a really good question. I think shootouts are really good opportunities. I think social media.
Don't shrink. She's shrinking because I hate social media. Like, we have to do it, but I struggle with it.
Yeah, I think like On my TikTok account, I get a lot of questions from like younger girls that are like, I love racing, I love F1, like how can I be more involved? And I'm just like,
you're like, me too, girl.
Yeah, right? Like, let me know if you find out. But it's like always the same answer, like go to a local track, meet people. And I think social media plays a large factor in getting into racing. And like I said, the shootout opportunities are really awesome. And I don't really know. I feel like just like where I am and like other people and that like are role models for everyone, like be nice. Like if someone has a question, answer. Like no matter, like don't like be humble. Like if people have questions, answer them. That's kind of just like I always wanted someone to like reach out to like anytime. Like if I had a question, they would answer. And I think being that person would be really helpful for a lot of people.
So then I'll ask, who are some people that inspire you?
That's such a good question. I don't know. I think Lily inspires me a lot. She's so hardworking and she's such a nice human being. I would say Susie Wolf is very inspiring. I think
100%.
She's awesome. She's awesome. People like Lynn St. James, Jamie Chadwick. She's an awesome driver. Lynn St. James is in what she's doing with Women in Motorsports North America. Just people of high standard. Like they're doing something for women in motorsports and not just women in motorsports, but like everyone for motorsports in general, period.
Yeah. And they're literally just lifting them up. Like everyone that you mentioned, I feel like has such an impact because they're not just claiming the space for themselves. Like Lynn has been around. We're in Indianapolis as we're recording this for the Women with Drive Summit, which is co-founded Women Motorsport North America by Lynn St. James. And I just think that you're right. Like she had her time and was badass like from day one and has now created this platform to elevate, support, encourage, and arm women in how they can be resourced better and be prepared. And I think that's amazing. Yeah. So then I'm going to ask you. Okay. As a role model for aspiring young racers as well, what advice would you give to those that might just be starting out too? Like, as you're still kind of in this infancy of your car racing career, what are some pieces of advice you've already gotten to learn?
Let's see. I'd say that's such a tough question. I feel like don't let obviously it's a male-dominated sport. Don't let guys bully you and push you around. I got into this when I was 8 years old. I learned that very, very quickly.
Do you have siblings?
I have an older sister.
Okay. Also bullies sometimes. I have an older sister too. Yes. Except she would probably argue that I bully her. But
yeah, for sure. It's always the younger ones.
It is.
Yeah, I would say don't let guys bully you and push you around. You deserve to be there just as much as they do. And like along with that, like people are going to tell you that you don't belong your entire career, but you kind of just have to like fight back and say, no, like I belong here just as much as everyone else. Like this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And this is what I'm going to accomplish.
Yeah. Have you seen that landscape change? I mean, obviously you've been in go-karting for 11 years and racing. Have you seen a difference from when you were a kid to now?
I would say for sure there's a lot more I get a lot more respect. I would say being in the shifter class specifically, I'm racing against like older 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, like they're all grown adults. And
you are too, Annie.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just a little girl. They're not going to race me the same way that younger boys are. Like that was a huge problem when I was younger. I was always getting taken out and like I never finished any races because no one wanted to get beat by a girl. So like they would purposely wreck me in like finals and races. Then I never finished. And now that I'm in shifter, I'm racing against grown adults. They have to get up and go to work the next day. They're not going to make a risky move that's going to cost us both a race. Yeah. So I feel like it's gotten better for me, but it's still there for younger girls. Yeah. Like I've spoke to a lot of younger girls in karting still that are like,
it's like unfair at the end of the day.
It
like,
has not changed. Yeah. They pick on you off the track, and then they pick on you on the track. Like, doesn't seem like much has changed, but like I said, you just gotta stand your ground.
Yeah. Develop your skill set. Like, once you start finishing and winning, like they just can't really they can't argue with it.
Right.
You know
Once you start bullying them back,
okay, we are not advocating for bullying. I am the BeDifferential podcast is not advocating for bullying. No, okay, so let's shift a little bit, because I think we've talked on the podcast especially a lot about car racing, some rally racing, different types, but we really haven't dove into go-kart racing.
Yeah.
So tell the listener who might not be as experienced or familiar with, what can you expect from like a weekend of go-kart racing?
Let's see. It's usually a 3 or 4 day event. We have 2 days of practice and then 2 race days on Saturday and Sunday. It's a lot smaller than IMSA races, IndyCar F1. It's so low key. It was like such a culture shock showing up to the race car track, and everyone's in like business casual and like slacks
like
and polos.
Not jorts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I show up to the go-kart track in sweatpants, sweatshirt. No one cares. But so in go-karting, there's a lot of different classes, and it's all based on age and engine horsepower restriction, and kart size. So you can start in kid kart, and that's like 3 or 4, and then all the way up to like masters, which is 60, or it's 30 and up, but like they're 6-year-olds that still race.
So let's talk about speeds a little bit, because I think people might underestimate go-karts a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of different engine sizes, different classes. Talk us through some of that. We don't have to do like a full breakdown, but like what can you, I mean, you guys, I worked at a go-kart track. Like, I know some of these answers, but like you can get going pretty fast.
Yes.
So like, tell us the difference between like an LO206, which like typically as a teen or adult you might get into, and then to shifter, like what that kind of is like.
So LO206, that is 4-stroke. It's like you're running about 20-30 miles per hour. Very, very slow.
Yeah,
compared to shifter.
Can go up.
They can go up. Yeah, when you press the gas, they go up. Very good job. Can you tell?
They can definitely go faster than 30 miles per hour, and I stand by that. There's also a level between tag karts. Okay, hold on. I'm like, you guys, the go-karts go really fast. She's like 20 to 30 miles per hour.
No, the 206, okay? 4-stroke. The LO206, they are the slower of the classes.
Yes, okay.
And then there's 2-stroke, which is like KA, X30, and then there's shifter, 125cc, which goes, the fastest I've gone in shifter is 98 miles per hour. And then X30s and KAs are more like 50, 60, 70. Gotcha. Like they're mid-range. Like, granted, you're going that fast and you're 4 inches off the ground. I was just about to say, like, let's put that into perspective. Because, like, if you're going 98 miles per hour in a car, that feels fast. Yeah. And even if you're in a lowered car, you're higher off the ground. You're in, like, a proper shell. Yeah. In a go-kart, you're not strapped in at those speeds. You're literally in an open-wheel vehicle. Yes. And literally, like, 2 to 4 inches off the ground. Yeah. You guys. That's not a joke, okay? I feel like people are like, ooh, go-karting. Like, yeah, Mario Kart, circle. I do it too.
Super Party 8. Yeah. No, I love that. Okay, so I appreciate that. So then tell us the journey you kind of took, like as your transition from like doing it at a very young age in the kid kart to now. Like, are there skill sets, or what skill sets have you taken from your experience as a kid in these slower karts to what you're doing now?
Well, I kind of had a different route in karting than everyone else did. So typically you start in kid kart, you go mini, junior, senior, shifter if you want, or typically people are out of it by then and go to cars.
Okay, gotcha.
So I started late. I started at 8 years old, which is crazy. How was that
so late, guys? Oh my god!
Everyone I know starts at like 4 or 3, and I'm like, okay, sorry guys, I was a dancer. I had priority.
She was classically trained, guys.
So I started in kid karts when I was 8, but like I'm a very tiny human being, so like I could still pull it off and make it work. And then I moved into mini and like Comer rookie, which isn't around anymore, when I was 9, and I stayed in that till I was 13. And typically when you're 13, you move up to junior.
Okay.
But like I said, it was very tiny. I could pull it off and we made it work.
You're in the rules.
Yeah. The rules don't apply to me.
I'm 9.
I'm just a little
She's trying to get the free kids meal.
So I went from kid kart to mini to junior, and when I moved up to junior, I also moved up to shifter. So when I was 14, I was racing against like 20 and 30-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
When I should have been.
So big shift.
Yeah, huge shift. It was just like no one. I don't even know if anyone's done that before. I started it. I led it. Yeah, so I kind of had not a natural route going from that. But
so wait, how long have you been doing shifter karts now?
I've been in shifter for, this was, oh my God, let's see, 5 years.
Okay.
Wow. 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, so now talk us through like how quickly is the shift from like 0 to 60 in a shifter kart?
Very fast. It's like a couple seconds.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy. The starts, it's basically, if you don't know, it's like an F1 start. All of the shifter starts are standing. So we have the hand clutch on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, and that's the only time that we use it. It's just to take off. And you're driving with one hand the entire
that's crazy.
28 minutes you're out there.
It's like drifting. Like you're literally just shifting like the whole time.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, okay, this I feel like has to be challenging because especially you mentioned you do sim racing to like kind of practice and prep, mostly for the car side of it. But there are some go-kart tracks on there.
Yes.
How can you practice that motion on a sim? Like, is that on sim available?
No, because it's only
missing market, guys. Actually, I'm about to trademark that. And then I'm gonna delete this from the podcast. Oh, new idea. Missing market.
Oh my gosh.
So you can't practice that though.
No, because there's only paddle shifters on sim racing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same, but it's really not.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't think about that.
Right.
Okay, no, but literally a new business idea. That's crazy. Okay, so let's shift. Like totally no.
Let's shift.
More puns intended. So we've covered honestly a lot.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this has just been so fun. But this is why I love recording in person, okay? But let's change a little bit because you are a student. You do have all these other things. Yes. What do you do outside of racing?
Okay.
Talk us through maybe those tasks, like on the motorsport side, on the automotive.
Okay, so I'm a full-time student. I go to a local community college in Pittsburgh, and then I'm going to transfer next fall, possibly. I'm pretty sure to Belmont Abbey College in North Carolina.
Yeah.
They have a really awesome motorsports management program.
Yes, they do.
You can get a bachelor's in that, which is insane. That's like the only opportunity in the country.
Yeah. So. Well, you answered the question I was going to ask, like what degree? Because like people will ask that, what should I pursue if I want this kind of career?
Yeah.
That is a great program. Yes. I actually know like one of the teachers in that program.
Really?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
anyway.
It sounds awesome. So yeah, I'm a full-time student. I have 3 other jobs on top of that. I work for my parents' company. I do their social media, and I help with like other customer administration things.
Yeah.
And I manage my go-kart team social media. And I also work for Lily at Link Project. I'm
all the plugs.
Yes, I'm just all the managers.
Yeah. But that's great because you're getting exposure to so many people, to so many brands and companies. And so, ideally some more sponsors down the line, but that's really great. So then tell us that, again, when you're not working on your craft, like, do you have hobbies or interests outside of this? Because you have such a full schedule. Like I can't, it's dance. But really, like what kinds of things do you enjoy or how do you relieve stress?
I don't. I live in a constant state of anxiety and stress.
Too real, too relatable. But here's the reality. Here's the reality, guys. It's the grind. Like at the age in the industry, like it really is the grind.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have hobbies.
I don't work, school, sleep, repeat. I would say.
Well, you read.
I read.
You read.
I like reading.
We got one.
When I have time.
Yeah.
When I'm not scrolling on TikTok.
No, it's tough. Honestly, like lately, the only time I've been reading is on flights.
Yeah.
Like it's the best time to catch up on reading.
Yeah.
But, okay. So then again, let me ask. I'm like, I don't know why. I feel so broken, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. You mentioned if you could race any car, it would be a Porsche.
Yeah.
Is there a dream track that you have not been on that you would want to race and compete on anywhere globally?
I think Abu Dhabi.
Okay, period. That'd be cool.
I just watched the F1 race.
Yeah, of course.
And it was just like, oh my God, this place is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's Ferrari roller coasters. Hop off the car and get on a roller coaster.
Yeah. We're going to have to make this a work trip. No, that'd be... We're definitely not there. Like, we're not a global company at this point, but that'd be really cool. Yay. No, that'd be really amazing. Okay,
yeah.
So in a Porsche in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, no, the track looks so much fun. It's very technical. It's got a little bit of everything. A lot of hairpins. There's just a little short straightaway, but
that's cool.
I think it'd be cool.
Okay, then follow up.
Yeah.
Out of your experience that you've had so far, what's your like favorite type of driving conditions?
Dry.
I was gonna say, like, I know some people are like, oh, like sunny, dry, perfect day.
Yeah.
But like truly, like, you don't find it like super engaging to be in a dust bowl or like in rain or like snow. No. Have you raced in the snow or like driven a car in the snow?
Not in the snow.
Well, like I'm sure you've driven a car in the snow. You live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But, like, okay.
But no, if anyone out there knows me, I hate the rain.
Oh, really?
Oh, I hate it so much. Every time I have been in a race car, it's rained. I'm like, how can I make the switch if the universe doesn't want me to?
It's like, just give me a sunny day, dang it.
Something go my way, please.
No. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
We're learning little tidbits.
Oh my God, I hate the rain. I hate it so much.
Oh my God.
Not my thing.
Okay, so rain aside.
But like, I'll work through it.
Yeah, you're just going to keep doing it. She'll learn, guys. Okay, so at this point, what's next on the horizon for you? Are there any things that you're like looking forward to? And this can be karting, cars, your degree, like work. Like, are there any things that are kind of upcoming that you're excited about?
I'm excited to get to Belmont Abbey and learn a little bit more about the business side. I feel like I'm learning a lot through Lily and just watching her engage in the IMSA paddock. And I think next year I'll be attending a lot more races with her through IMSA. And hopefully I'm still around go-karting, but I'd like to completely make the jump. Yeah. But I do a little bit of coaching in go-karting, so I'd like to still be around and show face still. Yeah. Help out where I can.
But, well, that sounds like the fulfilling side of it too. Like, no, absolutely. Obviously, winning feels good. Don't get me wrong.
That's awesome.
but like fulfilling to be able to give back, especially like in the community you've been in for a decade. That's crazy. But that's so cool. Yeah. Okay, so are there any other things you want to share with the listeners, or?
I don't know. I don't think I have any. I will say I completely rebranded this year from Annie Rhule Racing to Nugget Motorsports.
Okay. News.
Nugget.
Love that.
My sister kind of started that. So basically, I'm Nugget.
Okay.
That started when I was very much younger. I've always been a small person, and I always ate chicken nuggets. And she told me that I would turn into one if I didn't stop.
Here we have a nugget sitting in front of us.
So now I'm Nugget. And I don't know, I feel like that's just fun. It's not
brings a little character.
Yeah, not just Annie Rhule Racing. So yeah, I'm Nugget Motorsports.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, tell the listener, where can they follow along on your career development and your projects that you have coming up?
Okay. You can follow me on any social media. I think I'm on all of them at Annie Rhule, RHULE.
Shouldn't it be Nugget by now?
It should.
I'm just kidding.
But it's not.
Well, that's okay.
I still have a name. Yeah, follow me on any social media. I have a website too, annierhule.com, period. That's it.
No, I love that. Well, definitely you can keep it. We'll have all of her information tagged so you can find her with ease. Annie, thank you so much for spending a little time putting up with all of the obstacles that came into making this episode today.
Yes, be grateful, everyone watching.
Took a little extra work. But no, really, thank you so much for tuning in. Listeners, we'll see you next week. And Annie, thank you again for joining.
Thank you for having me. Bye.